Somewhere, right now, someone is staring at their phone, shocked. They just got a message from a person they were thinking about, out of nowhere. Someone else is walking down the street, lost in thought, when a billboard flashes a word that perfectly describes what's been on their mind. Another person is on the verge of giving up on a dream, but then a song plays, carrying lyrics that seem like a direct response to their doubts. These moments aren't just random. They're not just weird coincidences. Welcome to Synchronicity Signals, where we explore coincidences that aren't coincidences, diving deep into the mysterious connections that weave through our everyday lives. If you've been experiencing more of these strange moments lately, more impossible, what are the odds? Events, then you're not alone. And it's not just happening by chance. There's a reason why spiritually awakening people experience more synchronicities than others, and by the end of this documentary, you'll understand exactly why. More importantly, you'll know how to navigate them, how to decode what they're trying to tell you, and how to invite even more of them into your life. But before we get there, let's start with a question. Have you ever felt like reality itself is watching you, like it's responding to your thoughts, mirroring your emotions, or leading you somewhere? If so, then you're already on the path. Keep watching, because what you're about to hear could change the way you see reality forever. Imagine waking up one day and realizing that everything you believed about life was incomplete. Not necessarily wrong, but missing something huge. You start to notice that the world feels different, as if a layer has been peeled back, revealing a hidden structure underneath. Conversations feel more profound. Time moves strangely. Patterns emerge where you never noticed them before. This is the beginning of a spiritual awakening, a moment where your perception starts to shift, where you start questioning the nature of reality itself. And for many people, this is when synchronicities go from rare, fleeting events to an almost constant presence. But why? What exactly is happening? A spiritual awakening isn't just a vague, feel-good concept. It's a disruption, a breakdown of the mental filters that have been controlling how you see the world. Think of it like tuning a radio. Most people are locked into a single frequency, a narrow band of reality where everything seems logical, predictable, and mechanical. But when you wake up spiritually, you start picking up other frequencies. Suddenly, you're aware of the hidden connections, the unexplainable patterns, the subtle ways reality communicates back to you. For some, this awakening comes after a life-shattering event, a near-death experience, a traumatic loss, or a period of deep suffering that forces them to see beyond the surface of life. For others, it happens through deep meditation, psychedelics, or even spontaneous insight. No matter how it starts, the result is the same. Your awareness expands, and synchronicities start flooding in. Think about it. Before this shift, you might have ignored the strange repetitions in your life. You might have dismissed the intuitive nudges that told you to call someone, take a different path, or pay attention to a certain number. But now, you notice. You see the patterns. You feel the invisible thread connecting events, thoughts, and people. And the moment you start noticing synchronicities, they multiply. It's almost as if reality is responding to your attention, as if the universe has been waiting for you to wake up and finally see the game it's been playing with you all along. But is this all just a trick of the mind? Is there a logical explanation? Or is something deeper at play? Keep watching, because what you're about to hear might challenge everything you thought you knew about how reality works. If you think synchronicities are just coincidences, ask yourself this: why do they happen at exactly the right moment? Why do they feel so personal, like a direct message meant just for you? When something is truly random, it shouldn't feel like a hidden hand is guiding it. And yet, these moments do. So, what are synchronicities? Really? Carl Jung, The Swiss psychologist who first coined the term described them as meaningful coincidences, events that have no apparent causal connection but feel deeply significant. Unlike normal coincidences, which we brush off, synchronicities have an uncanny way of resonating with our thoughts, emotions, or life circumstances. They hit differently. There are some common types you've probably experienced. Repeating numbers 11, 11, 222, 444. The same digits appearing over and over, right when you're thinking about something important. Perfect timing, getting a message from an old friend right as you were reminiscing about them. Finding a book that answers the exact question you've been struggling with. Dreams that spill into reality, seeing a symbol or hearing a name in a dream, only for it to pop up in real life the next day. Uncanny encounters, meeting someone who shares an eerily similar story, or who has the exact knowledge you need at that moment. These moments defy logic, but they feel orchestrated, almost as if life itself is trying to communicate with you. And for those who are spiritually awakening, these events aren't just occasional, they become an integrated part of daily life. Why? Because once you begin to awaken, your mindset changes. You're no longer filtering out the strange, the mysterious, the impossible. You're open to it, expecting it, and reality responds accordingly. It's like a feedback loop. The more you notice synchronicities, the more they appear. But is this just psychological? Is your brain playing tricks on you? Or is there something much deeper happening? Science has its theories, but so does quantum physics. And when we put the pieces together, things start getting even stranger. Keep watching, because what you're about to hear might completely shift the way you see your own mind and the universe itself. Some scientists will tell you that synchronicities are just a glitch in your perception, that your brain is wired to find patterns even when none exist. And they're partly right. Your mind is an expert at detecting connections. It's the same mechanism that helps you recognize faces in clouds or hear your name in a crowded room. But here's where things get weird. There's a system in your brain called the reticular activating system, RAS. Think of it as a filter that determines what information gets through to your conscious mind. Right now, billions of bits of information are flooding your senses, but the RAS decides what's important and what gets ignored. Normally, it prioritizes survival-related information, loud noises, sudden movements, familiar voices. But when you go through a spiritual awakening, this filter shifts. Instead of just focusing on threats, it starts picking up patterns, synchronicities, and deeper meanings in events. You become more attuned to the underlying connections that have always been there, but now you can see them. So yes, part of it is psychological. But here's the part that mainstream science avoids, the part that makes synchronicities more than just a mental trick. Quantum physics. The deeper we look into the fabric of reality, the stranger things become. Particles can exist in two places at once. Observing something literally changes its behavior. And on a quantum level, everything appears to be connected in ways that defy classical physics. Some physicists suggest that consciousness itself plays a fundamental role in shaping reality. If that's true, then synchronicities might not just be something you notice. They could be something you're actively creating. Your thoughts, emotions, and intentions could be influencing the reality around you in ways that science is only beginning to understand. This isn't just theory. Studies in quantum entanglement have shown that particles can be connected across vast distances, responding to each other instantly. What if human consciousness works the same way? What if the reason you experience synchronicities is because your mind is somehow linked to the very structure of reality? When you awaken spiritually, you step out of the rigid, mechanical view of life and into something more fluid, more interconnected. Synchronicities aren't just happening to you, they're happening because of you. But this raises another question. If reality is responding to your awareness, then what else is possible? How deep does this connection go? And more importantly, can you take control of it? Keep watching, because we're about to explore exactly that. If synchronicities aren't just random, if they're not just glitches in perception, then what does that mean for you? What if they're signs, messages woven into reality, guiding you towards something? For spiritually awakening people, synchronicities don't just increase. They start to form a pattern, like clues in a puzzle, nudging them in a specific direction. But here's where it gets even crazier. The more you follow these signs, the more they seem to multiply. Why? Because once you align with something deeper, your purpose, your intuition, the rhythm of the universe itself, synchronicities stop being occasional surprises. They become the language of reality, constantly communicating with you. Think of it like tuning a radio. Before awakening, you were stuck on one station, logical, linear, predictable. But now, you've started scanning other frequencies, picking up signals you never noticed before. And if you're paying attention, these signals do more than just confirm you're on the right path. They start shaping the path itself. People who experience profound synchronicities often describe feeling like they're being led somewhere, like they're in a flow state where life itself is working with them. Doors open at the right moment. The right people appear. A problem that once seemed impossible suddenly has a perfect solution, handed to you by a bizarre coincidence. But this isn't just about external events. Something else changes when synchronicities increase: your sense of self. You stop feeling like a disconnected individual struggling through life. Instead, you start seeing yourself as part of something bigger, a web of energy, intelligence, and intention. The very fabric of reality seems to acknowledge your presence, to interact with your thoughts and emotions. This is why awakening people experience more synchronicities, because they're no longer separate from them. They become part of the dance. But is this just a game of noticing patterns? Or can you actually increase synchronicities on purpose? Can you harness this strange force and make it work for you? Keep watching, because what you're about to learn could change the way you move through reality forever. If synchronicities are increasing in your life, it's not random. It's a sign that something in you has shifted, that you've stepped into a new relationship with reality. But here's the real question: can you control it? Can you create synchronicities on purpose? The short answer: yes. And it starts with one simple but mind-shattering truth: you are already influencing reality. Most people live as if they are separate from the world, as if life is something that happens to them. But spiritually awakened people begin to realize the opposite. Life is responding to them. Your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs shape the events unfolding around you. The more you wake up to this, the more the universe starts reflecting it back to you. So, if you want more synchronicities, here's what you need to do. 1. Pay attention. Acknowledge the pattern. Synchronicities thrive on awareness. The moment you start noticing them, you step into a loop where your focus invites more of them. It's like when you learn a new word and suddenly start hearing it everywhere. Reality amplifies what you focus on. 2. Align your energy. Thoughts become signals. Every thought you have sends out a frequency. If you're full of doubt, fear, or disbelief, you create resistance, like trying to tune into a station while blasting static. But when you align your thoughts with possibility, with trust, with the belief that the universe is guiding you, the patterns become clearer, the connection stronger. Start small. Set an intention in the morning. Ask for a sign. Stay open and watch how reality responds. 3. Follow the breadcrumbs. Take action. Synchronicities aren't just there to entertain you. They're invitations. When they appear, don't just acknowledge them, act on them. If you keep seeing a certain name, look into it. If a book falls into your hands at the perfect moment, read it. If a strange coincidence pulls you toward a decision, lean into it. The universe rewards movement. When you act on synchronicities, they increase because you're proving that you're paying attention. 4. Let go. Trust the process. Here's the paradox. The more you chase synchronicities, the more elusive they become. Why? Because desperation carries the energy of lack. Synchronicities happen most when you're in flow, when you trust rather than force. Think of it like a butterfly landing on your hand. If you try to grab it, it flies away. But when you sit still and open your palm, it comes to you effortlessly. 5. Stay grateful. Amplify the connection. Gratitude is a frequency amplifier. Every time you acknowledge and appreciate a synchronicity, you signal to reality, I see you. I'm listening. And reality listens back. The more gratitude you express, the stronger the flow becomes. So, can you make synchronicities happen? Yes, but not by force. By awareness, alignment, action, trust, and gratitude. And here's the kicker. The deeper you go, the more you start to realize something profound. Synchronicities aren't just happening around you. They're happening through you. And once you truly understand that, you'll never see reality the same way again. Keep watching, because we're about to take this even further. There's a point where synchronicities stop feeling like surprises and start feeling like conversations. Like life itself is speaking to you, nudging you, shaping your path in ways you can't ignore. But what happens when you ignore them? What if you brush them off, dismiss them as coincidence, or worse, doubt them? Here's something most people don't realize. Synchronicities can fade. If you stop paying attention, if you second guess too much, or if you resist the direction they're pulling you, they can slow down or even disappear. Why? Because synchronicities aren't just random gifts. They're a response. A response to your level of awareness, trust, and alignment. People who consistently experience powerful synchronicities do one thing differently. They stay open. They don't just notice these moments, they interact with them. They let them guide their choices instead of dismissing them as mere coincidences. And because of that, synchronicities start forming a narrative, a storyline that leads somewhere. Think about it. You start noticing repeating numbers everywhere. 11, 11, 333, 555. Then, you randomly meet someone who gives you exactly the advice you need. A book appears in your life that answers a question you've been struggling with. An unexpected opportunity opens up, leading you exactly where you need to be. Each synchronicity builds on the last, forming a pathway forward. But here's where people get stuck. Some start overanalyzing, searching for meaning in everything, getting lost in paranoia or confusion. Others ignore the signs altogether, letting logic shut them down. The secret is balance. Trusting, but not obsessing. Following the flow, but staying grounded. Letting synchronicities guide you, not control you. And if you do that, something incredible happens. You stop waiting for synchronicities, and you start living in them. Your entire life begins to feel like one giant unfolding synchronicity, where things align effortlessly, where the right people, opportunities, and insights appear just when you need them. This isn't magic. It's not luck. It's a shift in consciousness, one that gives you access to a deeper, more interconnected reality. And once you step into that reality, there's no going back. So now, the final question: if synchronicities are guiding you, where are they leading you? Because make no mistake, they are leading you somewhere. And the moment you realize where, everything changes. So, where are synchronicities leading you? What's the end game? People who experience frequent synchronicities often feel like they're being pulled toward something, toward a deeper truth, a purpose, or even a completely new way of existing. And they're right, because synchronicities aren't just signs. They're thresholds. Every major transformation in life comes with a moment, a door that opens, an opportunity to step into something unknown. But here's what most people miss. The door isn't labeled. It doesn't come with a flashing neon sign that says, "This way." Instead, it comes in whispers, subtle nudges, repeating signs that seem almost too perfect to ignore. These moments aren't just random. They're an invitation, a test. Will you follow the signs, or will you brush them off and stay where you are? People who experience a spiritual awakening often realize, in hindsight, that their entire journey was paved with synchronicities. That every single coincidence was part of an invisible thread pulling them toward their higher self, their true calling, their deepest truth. This is why spiritually awakened people experience more synchronicities than others, because they're paying attention. And because they're willing to follow where these signs lead. But here's the catch. Following synchronicities often means stepping outside of your comfort zone. It means trusting the unknown before you have all the answers. It means acting on a feeling before you have proof. And it means surrendering the illusion of control and letting life show you where you're supposed to go. Most people can't do this. Most people need certainty, guarantees, logical explanations. They dismiss synchronicities as random noise because it's easier than admitting that life itself might be speaking to them. But if you've made it this far, you're different. You've already felt the pull. You've already experienced the moments that defy logic, the strange alignments that make you question everything. And now you have a choice. You can keep treating synchronicities as fun coincidences, or you can use them. You can start treating them as the guideposts they are, stepping fully into alignment with the unfolding intelligence of reality itself. Because once you do that, once you commit to following where synchronicities lead, you don't just experience more of them. You step into a completely new version of life. A life where things don't just happen to you, they happen for you. A life where reality itself seems to be conspiring in your favor, leading you exactly where you need to be, exactly when you need to be there. That's where this all leads. And the only question left is, are you ready to follow the signs? If you are still watching, then something inside you already knows the answer. You've seen the signs. You've felt the nudges. You've experienced the moments that make no logical sense, the ones that seem to defy probability, yet feel undeniably real. Maybe you've dismissed them in the past, telling yourself it's just coincidence. Maybe you've overanalyzed them, trying to find a concrete explanation. Or maybe, just maybe, you've started to listen. Because deep down, you already know that synchronicities aren't random. They are guides. They are the universe speaking back to you, responding to your thoughts, your emotions, your frequency. The truth is, life has never been random. It's always been connected, interwoven with meaning and intelligence, waiting for you to wake up and notice. And now, you do. So, where does this leave you? What do you do with this knowledge? The final step. Living in synchronicity. Most people think synchronicities are rare, fleeting moments of luck or mystery. But the ones who truly understand, they realize synchronicity isn't something that happens to you. It's a state of being. It's what happens when you align yourself so deeply with your intuition, your purpose, and the flow of reality that life stops feeling like a struggle and starts feeling like a conversation. A dance between you and the universe. And the more you step into that dance, the more effortless things become. The right people show up. The right doors open. The answers reveal themselves, sometimes subtly, sometimes with the force of a lightning bolt. But one thing is certain, once you fully embrace synchronicities, once you start acting on them instead of just observing them, life will never be the same. So now, you have two choices. You can go back to seeing the world as ordinary, You can chalk up every strange alignment to chance, push away the signs, and stay exactly where you are. Or you can step forward. You can start living in synchronicity instead of just noticing it. You can trust the patterns, follow the guidance, and walk into the life that's already waiting for you. Because if synchronicities have led you here, to this exact moment, then maybe, just maybe, this is one of them. And if this is one of them, if this moment, right here, right now, is a synchronicity in itself, then the real question is, what are you going to do with it? Because here's the truth that most people never realize. Synchronicities are not passive events. They are invitations. Every time you experience one, you're being given a choice. A door opens. A path reveals itself. But only you can decide whether to walk through it. Most people hesitate. They get stuck in doubt, in logic, in fear of the unknown. They wait for more signs, bigger confirmations, undeniable proof. And while they wait, the moment passes. The path fades. And synchronicities start to slow down, not because they've stopped, but because they've been ignored. But the ones who follow, the ones who recognize these moments for what they are, they step into something different. They stop living reactively and start living intentionally. They realize they are not just observers in life, but co-creators of it. They move with the flow, rather than against it. And because of that, synchronicities become their new normal. And once you reach that point, where life itself feels like a perfectly timed sequence of events, unfolding in ways you could never predict but always trust, you wake up to something bigger. You realize that every single moment, every choice, every thought you've had up until now has led you to this exact place. And that's not an accident. So now, it's up to you. Do you continue living as if these are just coincidences? Or do you finally acknowledge what you've always suspected? That reality is far more mysterious, more intelligent, and more connected than you were ever taught to believe? The choice is yours. But if you start to listen, if you start to trust the signs, follow the flow, and truly step into alignment, then get ready. Because the moment you do, life stops being something that just happens to you, and it starts happening for you.